Good morning, everybody. Yay, we all have coffee coursing through our veins at this point, I hope. Welcome, I'm Kim Sajet, the Director of the National Portrait Gallery, and I'm really excited that you're here at our E.P. Richardson Symposium, New Perspectives on Portraiture. The topic of the brilliant book, Beyond the Face. It's not a light book, by the way. I got a little bit of a shock. I thought it was going to be a small little book for scholars to carry into their classrooms. I don't think it's quite that. It's very impressive. And it was edited by the equally impressive and brilliant curator emeritus, Wendy Wick-Reeves. Where are you, Wendy? Yay, she's over here. The inspiration for this publication and this symposium was to have the National Portrait Gallery take a leadership position in conversation around and scholarship about portraiture in the year of our 50th anniversary. In hindsight, I'm so glad to have asked Wendy, who established the Department of Prints and Drawings at the NPG, to edit this book. The fact that I broached the subject only a few months after she had retired, and the equally astonishing fact that she didn't look at me with total incredulity, although I suspect her husband, John Daniel, might have, is a testament to her love for this museum and her astonishingly in-depth knowledge of portraiture in all its forms. I'm not sure many people would have been as qualified as Wendy or as patient to have done the job, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I also wish to thank the talented Reese Conlon, who's the head of our publications, for bringing it into being. I don't know if Reese is with us, but she's a powerhouse, amazing editor and producer of publications. And also to Kathy and Mike Padell, Alan and Lois Fern, Dan Okrent, Sally Chubb, Jacqueline and William Sheehan, Gay and Tony Barclay for helping to financially support the publication. Beyond the Face features 16 original essays taking the broadest possible look at visual biography from multiple perspectives, whether discussing literally the body politic of the American Revolution, photography in the Gilded Age, gaming, the personal I with the collective we of surrealism, and the coded histories of gender, race, ethnicities and identities in its many forms. This publication represents in miniature what I hope that this museum will represent: a respectful and thoughtful unpacking of the people who have shaped known and often unknown of the United States of America. Please note that the book will be for sale at the bookstore throughout the 2 days and that the authors will be available to do a book signing after the final session on Friday. Beyond the Face is the first of what I anticipate will be many more books published under the aegis of Portal, Equal Portraiture and Analysis, the emerging scholarship and research arm of the NPG. Situated within the History Department and led by an amazing National Advisory Board of public intellectuals, Portal is directed by the incredibly talented Dr. Kate LeMay and managed by the amazing Jackie Petito with the backing of the entire curatorial and audience engagement team of the museum. So thank you. It is my hope that Portal will develop into a significant centre for research and debate. In addition to the biannual Richardson Symposium, we have just announced the Director's Essay Prize for Emerging Scholars in Portraiture, with applications closing on December the 14th. We hope to have a Portal Fellow with the goal of a dissertation, book or scholarly endeavour in portraiture being supported. And a bit of a drum roll here. Last night, we literally at the 11th hour signed the gift agreement with Dan Greenberg and Susan Steinhauer to launch the Greenberg-Steinhauer Forum in American Portraiture that will allow the NPG to bring scholars from around the country to Washington, D.C. twice a year for the next 5 years to discuss issues of mutual interest. Finally, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we actually have 2 important positions open. So I've got a captive audience of potential colleagues, a curator of time-based media and special projects, and the Associate Director of History, Research and Scholarship. This second position will serve on the senior executive team and manage all the historical research and oversee pedagogy at the NPG, including publications and Portal. So if you're interested, please let me know. Both of these positions should be posted online within a fortnight. It is with heartfelt thanks that I also want to thank the 20 speakers at this two-day symposium for their dedication and energy and insights, and of course all of you for actually attending and being a thoughtful audience. So I'm going to introduce the speakers for our first section. I'd just ask if you could hold your applause to the end of my introductions, and certainly as they're speaking, if you could hold your questions until we have the panel conversation. I want to first introduce that we'll have Lauren Lessing. We actually have three authors for one of the papers. Lauren Lessing is the director of the University of Iowa Stanley Museum of Art. She was formerly Merkin Director of Academic and Public Programs at Colby College Museum of Art in Waterville, Maine, where she also served as a curator. She completed her PhD in art history at Indiana University under the guidance of Sarah Burns, and she's authored numerous books, articles, essays, and papers on 18th and 19th century American art. Nina Roth-Wells, a painting conservator, has a BA in art history and French from Bowdoin College and a master's degree in art conservation with a specialization in paintings from Queen's University. In 2000, she started a private paintings conservation firm that serves both institutions and private collections. In 2014, Nina became a fellow of the American Institute for Conservation of Historic and Artistic Works. Terry Sabatos is Associate Professor of Art History at Longwood University in Farmville, Virginia. She has published several articles and exhibition catalogue entries on death and mourning culture in 19th century America and Britain. She has also co-authored a chapter that focused on liminal spaces in the art of Benjamin West. Our second paper is presented by Jennifer Van Horn, the Assistant Professor for Art History and History in the University of Delaware. She specializes in American art and material culture. She is the author of The Power of Objects in 19th Century British America, published by the University of North Carolina Press for the Omohuro Institute. Our third paper is presented by Juanita Solano Roa. She is the collection manager at the Institute for Studies on Latin Arts, New York University. Latin American art, I'm sorry, Juanita. This past May, she did receive her PhD from the Institute of Fine Arts, New York University, and her work focuses on the history of photography and modern and contemporary Latin American art. She recently published the book Lamparas. Oh, I'm going to really mess this up. She's published a wonderful book. I speak a number of languages, but Spanish is not one of them, so rather than torture all of you who do. And she's also curated the exhibition Bitter Bites, Tracing the Fruits Market in the Global South of Cuchifritos Gallery, New York City. The fourth paper is presented by our own wonderful Taina Catagol, the curator of painting and sculpture and Latino art and history at the National Portrait Gallery. Since her appointment in 2013, Taina has created a more inclusive portrait of the nation by dramatically increasing the representation of Latino sitters and artists in the museum's collection. Taina has curated the exhibitions Portraiture Now, Staging the Self, and One Life Dolores Huerta, and also co-curated the exhibition up presently, Unseen Our Past in a New Light, Ken Gonzalez Day and Titus Kaffar. Currently, she's co-curating with Dr. Kate LeMay an exhibition on the Spanish-American War and its aftermath, and her academic interests include the interplay between portraiture, historical absence, and national myths. All right, well, if you're not totally excited at this point, there's something wrong. So good morning, and I do welcome our first speaker up to the podium.